Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. Senator Jinggoy Estrada and former DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan have posted bail for one graft case each at the Sandigan Bayan. But their freedom is still under threat, pending the arrest warrant for their non-bailable case of plunder over the flood control scam.
Now, on the manhunt for Senator Bato de la Rosa, the NBI is considering bringing in his wife, Nancy, for more information on the whereabouts of the ICC wanted lawmaker.
And from a shooting incident to the minority bloc's walkout, President Bongbong Marcos says he is watching the goings-on in the Senate with horror.
Nag-usap kami kahapon, tinawagan ko siya. Sabi ko either surrender or arrest. Sabi niya pag-iisipan niya raw. Ang concern niya ay yung tuhod niya na kailangan ng knee replacement. So, wala na kami masasabing iba. Hintayin na lang namin ang sabihin ng Sandigan before we issue an arrest. Before we execute an arrest.
It's only a day after the Ombudsman filed plunder and graft complaints against Senator Jinggoy Estrada, former Public Works Chief Manny Bonoan, and several others. And already the Sandigan Bayan 2nd Division has issued a warrant for their arrest. But it was just for one graft charge, which is bailable. The plunder charge is another story. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos has tonight's big story.
Despite being ordered arrested, Senator Jinggoy Estrada will not get jail time again, at least not yet. He personally posted bail of 90,000 pesos at the Sandigan Bayan on the last Friday of May, hours after the anti-graft court ordered his arrest. Estrada was charged by the Office of the Ombudsman for plunder and 2 counts of graft related to the flood control scandal. One graft case was raffled to the Sandigan Bayan 2nd Division, which issued the warrants. Estrada did not grant interviews while at the Sandigan Bayan, but in a statement, the senator said he respects the rule of law and the judicial institutions. This is why he is submitting himself to the jurisdiction of the court. At the same time, Estrada again denied the fresh allegations against him, saying these are baseless and without any shred of truth. Estrada added that he hopes for fair treatment, due process, and impartiality in the hearing of his case. The senator was dragged into the controversy by former DPWH District Engineer Bryce Hernandez, who accused him of receiving kickbacks from flood control projects. Investigations yielded information that 573 million pesos in payoff was systematically delivered to Estrada. Apart from the former presidential son, 4 others, including former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan, are facing cases before the Sandigan Bayan. Bonoan also posted bail on Friday afternoon. He and Estrada are likewise accused of another count of graft and plunder raffled off to the Sandigan Bayan's 5th Division. Due to the gravity of their charges, both have been slapped with a whole departure order by the same chamber. The question now is, when will the anti-graft court act on the non-bailable offense of plunder? Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla expects the Sandigan Bayan to issue the corresponding arrest warrant for this on Monday, June 1. Remulla also revealed a conversation with Estrada where he discussed options for the senator if the plunder warrant comes out.
Nag-usap kami kahapon, tinawagan ko siya. Sabi ko either surrender or arrest. Sabi niya pag-iisipan niya raw. Ang concern niya ay yung tuhod niya na kailangan ng knee replacement. So, wala na kami masasabing iba. Hintayin na lang namin ang sabihin ng Sandigan before we issue an arrest. Before we execute an arrest.
Once arrested, Estrada will undergo booking procedures before being turned over to the Sandigan Bayan for the return of warrant. Then, the anti-graft court will decide Estrada's detention facility while his trial is ongoing. It is likely that he will be detained at the new Quezon City Jail in Payatas, where other flood control suspects are being held. This includes Hernandez, JP Mendoza, and former Senator Bong Revilla, whom Estrada shared the same detention facility with at the PNP Custodial Facility Center when they were charged years ago for the pork barrel scam. Meantime, Senator Estrada's lawyer, Noel Ostrea, has filed an urgent motion with the Sandigan Bayan 5th Division to prevent the release of more arrest warrants.
We have not received a copy of the DOJ resolution charging him with crimes, namely anti-graft, 2 counts, and 1 count of plunder. So how are we expected to file a proper motion when we don't even know what the basis for the filing of these charges is?
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
This is the third time in 25 years that Senator Jinggoy Estrada has been slapped with a plunder charge. And this recent one comes just 2 years after his acquittal in the pork barrel scam. Now, Estrada is involved in another case, the flood control fiasco that has so far charged and detained at least one former senator. Estrada first faced plunder cases in 2001 when he and his father, former President Joseph Estrada, were accused of conspiring to acquire hidden wealth amounting to 4 billion pesos. And these were money taken as kickbacks from wetting operations and tobacco excise taxes. The former president was found guilty while Jinggoy was acquitted for lack of evidence. In 2014, Senator Estrada was charged with plunder and graft over the pork barrel scam, and he was acquitted of plunder in 2024, but 11 of his graft cases are still pending.
It is Estrada's third plunder charge that has quite caught the public's attention. On social media, memes of the senator's quote, "three-peat" are all over. Posts like this also took shots at the senator's record. A netizen even poked fun at Senator Estrada's behind-the-back move, saying the senator was also quite good at, quote, kickbacks. And of course, this clip again resurfaced, where Senator Rodante Marcoleta claimed that Estrada was safe from flood control corruption.
Mr. Diskaya, sa dami-dami mong binanggit na pangalan na kongresista, isa lang tanong ko, Senador, meron ba?
Your Honor, wala po.
Sigurado ka? Safe ka na?
Sigurado po.
Now it's the end of the week, and as always, we have our Suke, resident political pundit with us, Ronald Llamas. Welcome back.
Good evening, Ses, Sean, Pauline. Ses, kamusta si Attorney Bondok?
Ewan, kamustahin mo para sa akin? Anyway, what is your assessment of this eventful week?
Well, matagal nang hinihintay yan eh. Last year pa eh. No, last year pa dahil yung mga ebidensya nakapatong-patong na at saka maraming smoking guns. Sana may habol pa yung iba na last year pa rin inaasahan na makakasuhan. No? At yung mga paliwanag nila na sila lang ang pinapersecute, parang hindi naman totoo. Dahil long overdue na nga yung kaso na yan. At saka hindi lang naman siya. Si Secretary Bonoan ng executive ay kinasuhan din at ilang mga tiga-DPWH. So it doesn't hold water.
Ronald, pero kasi yung timing no? Nagkataon na yung nangyayari sa Senado, yung hatian ng dalawang panig, no? Yung timing kasi hindi maganda, kumbaga.
Well, wala tayong magagawa sa timing. Pero kung nakasuhan siya o nakulong last year, baka iba yung composition ng Senado ngayon. Iba yung leadership. Kaya baka sabihin din, kung nangyari yan last year, baka sabihin, uy, grabe naman yung timing. No? So, relative kasi yung timing no? Pag tumama yan last year o tumama yan early this year, sasabihin din ng mga kakampi niya na mali yung timing. No? Baka sabihin din ni Robin Hood Padilla na may force majeure. No? So, paano? Nagtatago na rin si Nagtatago na.
Teka, nawala ang ating political pundit. Did he mean na nagtatago si Robin Padilla? Was he about to say that?
Or si Bato de la Rosa.
Okay. Well,
More likely.
hintayin natin. But, yeah.
Anong summation mo of this week, no? I mean, last week was Also interesting. And the week before that was...
Ever since,
Ever
May
since May.
began. Yeah.
And that
Ever
was the
since
last
May 11, when the leadership change happened, and 2 days later was the
shootout.
the shootout in at the Senate.
And the never-ending everyday inaabangan natin kung magkakaroon ng
Yes.
coup. And that hasn't stopped, right? I mean,
That's why Monday yan rin ang aabangan natin.
for
no?
the third Monday in a row.
But it's going to be interesting because we're not sure about the numbers, diba? Now that the majority could possibly be down to 11 because Senator Bato de la Rosa is in hiding and Senator Jinggoy Estrada could face an arrest warrant already from the Sandigan Bayan. So magiging 11-11?
Pero,
They need a 13. The majority has to be 13.
yes, I mean, the majority has to be 13, and a quorum at plenary also needs to be 13, which is the simple majority. But Senate math is more complicated than that.
I
right?
wonder if the rules...
Committee has been constituted.
No.
Mahirap yung math.
Because they will have to change the numbers. I mean...
The base number,
yeah.
diba? Oh.
One if more arrests will come, right? This is like
But
unheard
they've
of.
also like clarified. For example, Senator Jinggoy. So he did have an arrest warrant. He posted bail, but he's not yet convicted. So he's technically, as long as hindi siya nakapiit, di ba? Pwede pa rin
Yes,
siya.
but plunder, that's only for the graft
For the graft.
charge.
Yeah. So inaabangan natin yung plunder.
Kung plunder, hindi.
kasi
Hindi
not
siya-
bailable.
Non-bailable.
Yeah,
But
non-bailable.
they have a right to file a petition for bail. Diba? So,
Right.
Case-to-case basis.
yes.
But from jail, right?
From jail, like
From
like
jail, like-
former Senator
Right.
Bong Revilla.
So here he is, he's back. Akala ko,
Pasensya na.
akala ko tinakasan mo
Nasa-
kami, ikaw talaga.
Binitin mo kami.
Pasensya na.
Okay.
Nasa cellphone lang kasi. Kaya pag may tumawag, kasi wawala.
Ayun.
Sinong tumawag?
Mga Tweety
Yeah.
birds. Teka,
Oo.
naputol ka dun sa sinabi mong ang isa ay nagtatago na. Who did you mean?
No, I mean, I meant that kung sakaling lumabas ito last year, halimbawa November, ay by that time nagtatago rin si Bato eh. Kung lalabas naman yan early this year, yung nagtatago na rin si Bato. So, yung timing is relative. No? Lagi naman yung questionin eh. Lalo na kung ikaw ay kakampi nung makukulong. No?
Lahat na lang kasi ay sinasabi nilang dahil sa politika.
Well, sa Pilipinas naman kasi almost everything is about politics. Eh. Pero plunder, graft are also political eh. Dahil nagamit mo yung political position mo para possibly nagnakaw or nag-commit ng plunder. Diba? Kaya medyo matindi. Matindi kung sakaling ikaw ay senador o ikaw ay vice president o ikaw ay presidente pag nagkaroon ng ganyang klaseng mga kaso. Ayun lang kaibahan sa vice at saka sa presidente, impeachment lang ang paraan para ikaw ay matanggal o makasuhan later on. Pero yung mga senador, parang ito si Senator Jinggoy, parang naging serial, hindi ko naman sasabihin na serial plunderer,
Right.
pero parang serial yun na yung kaso niya sa plunder.
Pangatlong beses na, hindi ba?
Nga eh. And people are saying,
Twist the
Ronald,
charm daw, di ba? Twist the charm. Oh.
oh, yun nga, do you think the third time is the charm?
Well, possibly dahil dito kasi very clear yung smoking gun eh. Yung nagtestigo galing sa DPWH. No, very specific. Yung last time kasi listahan yun ni Luy eh. 'Di ba? Merong ledger si Luy at nakalagay doon yung listahan ng mga binigyan nila ng kickback, no? Ito ay mismong government official eh.
And to your point, Ronald, no, na hindi lang naman sila yung kinakasuhan kasi nga accountability talaga yung ultimate goal, I guess, nung sambayanan. That's what we deserve, right? Nag-drop na rin ng hint si Ombudsman Remulla na posibleng susunod na rin no, si Cheese Escudero, former SP, at former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Do you think soon na talaga to? May alam ka ba?
Yes, dahil nauna silang binigyan ng precautionary hold departure order, di ba? At si Speaker Martin Romualdez ay nag-issue na ng yung AMLAC ng freeze sa kanyang mga accounts, no? So yung malamang itong mga kasong ito ay bibilis na dahil kung maalala nyo, nagpromisa dati si Ombudsman Boying Remulla before Christmas. And then, nagpromisa siya ng March. At yung huli niyang promisa ay May. No? So, yung promisa na yan ay hindi lang naman nakaspecify kay Senator Jinggoy. Nakaspecify yan sa mas marami. At ngayon nga, the first cabinet secretary ay nakasuhan na rin ng graft and possibly plunder next week. No? So, hindi mahirap po sabihin na tinatarget ka lang. No? Dahil matagal na yung promisa na yan eh. At possibly, mismo si Speaker Martin Romualdez, mismo si Senate President Chis Escudero ay makasuhan din. Pero malamang ang sumunod si Joel Villanueva dahil tapos na yung preliminary investigation sa kaso niya. Kaya most probably siya na yung susunod kay Jinggoy.
And as far as Senator Jinggoy Estrada is concerned, his plunder charge involves over $500 million pesos, Ronald, ano? Nasa 500 plus million yan. Ito na ba yung big fish na inaantay natin?
Yes, dahil last year pa inihintay na sana ay may makasuhan na senador or congressman or cabinet secretary dahil ang tagal nang lumabas ng kanilang mga pangalan dito sa Blue Ribbon Committee investigation na walang gustong pumirma ng mga senador dahil nga involved ay mga kapwa nila senador. No? Buti na lang ay naisubmit din yan ni Senator Ping Lacson sa ombudsman. Kaya nakatulong yan dito sa mga kasong ito kahit hindi siya naging official Blue Ribbon report.
Pero
No?
Ronald, itong mayorya ay may binuong subcommittee ng Blue Ribbon na pamumunuan ni Senator Marcoleta na itutuloy ang flood control scam investigation. And what do you make of this?
Well, in your face In your face, halimbawa, si Senator Bato ay head nung Committee on Public Order. Biro mo, yung isang fugitive na hinahanti ng ICC for crimes against humanity ay ginawa mong head ng Committee on Public Order, no? Tapos yung ginawa mong vice chair ng Blue Ribbon ay si Jinggoy at saka si Marcoleta. At ngayon, si Marcoleta ang head ng task force o ng subcommittee para investigahan ang flood control. Kasama siya sa binanggit ni Senator Ping Lacson na may mga allocables na involve yung flood control, no? Na hindi pa nga nasisimulang investigahan. Kaya medyo in your face yung mga committee chairmanship. Pero kung sakaling makulong si Jinggoy next week at may isa o dalawa na bumaliktad mula sa majority or makulong si Joel Villanueva, then the minority will have the majority. At pwede na nilang baguhin yung mga chairmanship sa mga committees. So baka hindi naman tumagal si Marcoleta as head niyang subcommittee na yan. No? Pero to change the Senate President, kailangan mo ng 13 votes. Pero to change the chairmanship of the committees, hindi naman 13 votes ang kailangan mo. Simple majority lang. At may malaking possibility next week para dyan.
Yun nga, Ronald, may alam ka ba sa Senate math?
Nakakalito.
Oo,
Nakakalito kasi for the first time in history natin makikita na malalagas ang Senado sa dami ng mga kinasuhan sa korupsyon. Ano ba, Matt?
Dahil meron kang 5 na may plunder cases sa ombudsman, no? Tapos meron kang 2 na may possibly magkaroon ng international warrant sa ICC for crimes against humanity. Tapos posible na magkaroon ka lang 2 o 3 senador na makasuhan ng obstruction of justice. Tapos may possible pa na 1 o 2 na senador na pwede makasuhan ng insider trading at market manipulation. At lahat sila ay nasa majority. Diba? So next week, posible na yung minority na 11, no, ay maging majority sa Senate, no, which means pwede nilang palitan yung chairmanship. Pero hindi nila matatanggal yung Senate President. So magkakaroon ka ng rare situation na meron kang Senate President na galing sa majority before na ang mga members o chairman ng kanyang mga committees ay galing naman sa minority before.
Pero
No? Medyo
Ronald,
weird, no? Nalito ka ba?
Weird. Hindi, nakakalito pero papalito ko muna everybody a little bit more.
A little bit more.
How will this impact the impeachment? May ganun din bang math na magbabago yung base number of 24 senators para mag-compute ng 2/3?
Hindi naman, dahil ang kailangan mo pa rin naman kasi sa impeachment, 16 eh. Di ba? At kung wala pang final verdict dyan sa mga senador na yan, kasama pa sila sa bilang sa 24. So 16 pa rin yung hahabulin mo. Whether sila ay nandyan o wala.
So kahit
Kailangan
nakapiit
mo
na yung
ng
mga
16
iba.
votes.
Okay.
Ibang usapin kung 10 yung mawawala. No? So, hindi ko... Oo. Pero kung halimbawa, ang mawawala lang ay 6, then tuloy pa yung impeachment. No? Ayun lang, kailangan mo pa ng 16 votes. Ngayon, pwede, dahil nga may mga makukulong, baka yung ilan sa majority ay magkaroon ng road to Kairos. Baka magkaroon sila ng lightning, no? At sila ay magising at biglang lumipat dito sa minority sa usapin ng impeachment. Posibleng mangyari 'yon, no? Na yung members ng majority na for now ay ang tingin ng lahat ay anti-impeachment o anti-conviction ay pwedeng magbago ang isip. Pag nakita nila na sirang-sira na yung kanilang majority, na actually ngayon sirang-sira na kung i-monitor nyo ang social media, no? Pero pwede silang lumipat. Halimbawa, kung may 4 na makulong, 20 yung natira, pwede yung magkaroon ng effect at sumama sila dun sa mga minority ngayon na most probably ay for conviction.
Pero right now, kasi
Yun yung pwede maging epekto.
Yes, pero sobrang drawn yung line, no, between the two camps, majority and minority. So, let's say may gusto nga lumipat, like you said, tatanggapin ba sila nung current minority na posibleng maging future majority ulit?
Well, 2 Mondays ago, ay yung mga tumatawid na muntik na magkaroon ng pagbabago sa Senate presidency, ay mukhang hindi tinanggap ng minority. Paano meron din silang mga minimums no? Kung tatawid kayo ay huwag kayo mag-set ng condition. Kung tatawid kayo ay preferably ay walang promisa na hindi kayo kakasuhan, di ba? Mga ganun ba? Pero yan ang problema kung ang naiwan sa yung choice ay mga lesser evil. Minsan kasi yung lesser evil ang itsura sa iba greater evil Kaya ang hirap ng dilema ng minority ngayon. Sino ba yung gusto nilang tanggapin? No? Kung ako nasa lugar nila, baka mas acceptable yung mga umalis sa kanila. Katulad ng 2 Bilyar at si Loren. Dahil at least yung 2 Bilyar ay corporate yung mga kaso. No? Hindi plunder. No? Hindi non-bailable na plunder cases. So baka lesser evil sila. Loren naman, kahit nasa may mga possible na cases yung kanyang anak, wala pa naman siyang kaso. Si Pia naman, hindi nalilipat yan Dahil from the very start naman, Trojan horse sa majority. Parang wala namang naniniwala na siya ay nasa majority habang yung kanyang kapatid ay head ng minority. So, talagang magulong-magulong. Ngayon lang ako nakakita in my 45 years in politics na ganito kaguho, ganito kadurog yung Senate. Hindi ko nga alam, like Humpty Dumpty, kung pwede pa silang e-epoxy Mismo nga si Ping Lacson, na pinaka-veterano at pinakamatigas ng senador, mismo siya last week inamin niya na gusto na niya mag-resign dahil masyado na siyang dismayado. Kung somebody like Ping Lacson, no, who is a sitting senator, ay kino-consider mag-resign, ibig sabihin, talagang yung Senado mo ay talagang in the pits. No?
Well, Ronald, ano naman yung take mo doon sa desisyon ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla to pursue plunder charges against these senators? Kasi dati sinabi niya na ang plunder, mahirap patunayan yan. Sabi pa nga niya, that's overrated. Mas madali yung mga malversation, ganyan. But now, he seems intent on actually challenging the jurisprudence and to redefine plunder.
Malamang Pauline, ay nitong na-delay yung mga kaso, ay mas marami siyang nag-gather na ebidensya. Kung last year kasi, baka kung gusto niya, malversation with falsification of public documents, non-bailable din yan, pero 8 million lamang ang limit, no? Yung plunder kasi 50 million at least. So baka in between last year at ngayong Mayo, mas marami siyang nag-gather na ebidensya. Kaya mas confident siya na magkaso ng plunder, no? Baka mas marami siyang smoking guns ngayon kumpara last year nung sinabi niya yan.
Eh yung kaso ni Senador Marcoleta, kakaiba rin yung kanya na sa campaign contributions ang tinutugis ng ombudsman.
Sabi nga ni Boying Remulla, ang ebidensya naman namin kay Marcoleta nanggaling mismo sa kanya, sa kanyang bibig. Dahil akala ni Marcoleta makakalusot siya dun sa kaso niya sa election, no? Pero yes, nakalusot siya dahil nung binigay pala sa kanya yung pera ay hindi pa siya kandidato. So nalusutan niya, pero nung binigay sa kanya yung 50 million, 75 million, siya ay congressman. So kanyon, indirect bribery, plunder yon dahil more than 50 million. At ang plunder, hindi lang yung pera na nanggaling sa gobyerno. Ang plunder ay yung binigay sa yung pera. Kahit ipagpalagay na wala namang hiningi, sabi ni Mike Defensor sa kanya, kaya nga indirect bribery. Ang problema, malinaw na halos open shut case yan eh. No? At lalong-lalo na sa kanyang bibig mismo nang galing. Kaya hindi ko alam paano niya malulusutan yan. At katulad nung kinaso kay Jinggoy at possibly sa iba pang senador, non-bailable din yan.
At may HDO na rin siya, so malapit na rin ma-issue ang arrest warrant sa kanyang kaso.
Yes, at kasama sa kakasuhan, yung nagbigay sa kanya ng pera. No? Ng plunder.
Top 3 things na inaabangan mo next week para lang kapaghanda rin ang buong sambayanan at lahat ng nanonood.
O yung positibo naman, meron ba?
Depende kung nasang panig ka.
Sabagay.
Well, ang positibo ay entertainment.
Nako.
Yun ang positibo, no?
At the
Kaya
expense
masarap.
of the public, actually. Yung tuwan-tuwa tayo, na-entertain tayo, but it's really deep inside. It's really, it hurts to laugh. Kumbaga, I can put it that way.
Yes and no, Ses. Dahil kung hindi sila makakasuhan, then it really hurts the public. Pero kung makakasuhan sila, then kahit papano, naigpawan yung pain ng public dahil nakikita nila, ay, hindi lang pala yung mga mahihirap na naglalaro ng Cara Cruz o nagnakaw ng mangga sa sarili niyang lupa dati ang nakakasuhan. Ito rin palang mga 473 million na kumuha sa pera ng bayan o kumuha sa mga ibang mga sources ng funds, pwede rin palang makasuhan. So, yes, it is painful para sa bansa, but no, dahil nakikita na pwede pala silang kasuhan. Hindi pala sila untouchable. Kaya may kaunting silver lining na nakikita naman. Pero next Monday, ang bakbakan dyan, yung online. Dahil para ma-maintain yung mga committee, chairmanship na nabuo dito sa majority ni Alan Peter, ay kinakailangan nila yung online voting. No? At to preserve the leadership of Alan Peter, kailangan nila yung online voting. Pero posible rin na Monday, hindi lang online voting ang mangyari. Pwede rin merong dalawa na lumipat sa mayorya, which means hindi lang online voting ang bakbakan. Yung Senate presidency ay pwede nang mapalitan. No? At next week, posible merong 1 or 2 senators din na makasuhan together with other executive officers and possibly mga kongresista. Dahil lang alam ko, may mga 10 kongresista ang nakapila na makakasuhan. No? Hindi ko lang alam yung status nung kanilang investigasyon.
Okay, sabihin na nating 5 months late, but at least mangyayari. Thank
Yes.
you for talking to us. That was our resident political pundit, Ronald Llamas. Maraming salamat. Enjoy your weekend. This is still the big story on One News. When we return, we hear from President Marcos and his take on the happenings at the Senate, which he finds concerning and even horrifying. Stay tuned. The big story is back with President Bongbong Marcos weighing in on recent goings-on at the Senate. He says he was watching with horror. More from mobile journalist Julie Baisa.
Noong kami ay pinag-aaralan ng Ombudsman, ng Department of Justice, lahat ng mga aligasyon na dumating dahil sa flood control, maraming nagsasabi, bakit wala pang nangyayari? Bakit wala pang nangyayari? Bakit ang tagal ninyo? Ngayon, nandito na. At dahan-dahan lumalabas na ang katotohanan. Ito na yung mga ang hinihingi sa amin ng tao.
This was the president's response to criticism his administration is moving at a glacial pace when it comes to the flood control scandal. The chief executive says they have only just begun, with the investigations into the multi-billion peso mess steadily gaining momentum. The scam has figured for months in the probe of the Blue Ribbon Committee, which Senator Amy Marcos said will be a much better panel under the new majority bloc. Amy was reacting to her estranged brother's take on current issues at the upper chamber, which she believes are, quote, clear incursions in the constitutional boundaries between executive and legislative. For her, one objective is to paralyze the new leadership when the flood scam probe resumes. But for Mr. Marcos, the panel his sister is referring to already came up with the same names now facing charges. Senator Jinggoy Estrada and maybe Senator Joel Villanueva, even Senator Rodante Marcoleta, although not for the infrastructure mess, could also be sued.
That does not apply. Kung ano man ang naging alignment sa Senado, walang kinalaman yun. Ito pa rin ang mga tao na lumabas ang mga pangalan. Kung titignan ninyo, kung saan pinagbabasihan lahat itong mga ito, ay doon sa testimonya sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Doon naman lumabas lahat ito. So, binigay ng Blue Ribbon Committee sa Ombudsman at sa DOJ ang mga findings nila. Ito ang naging resulta ngayon. So, it has nothing to do with the alignment. Kung magbago yan, the alignment is different again tomorrow. I'm not saying it will be. But if the alignments are different again in terms of the majority, paano mo sasabihin pag nagbago na naman yan? So, walang kinalaman yung majority, minority sa Senado.
And then, there's the issue of the push for remote voting at the Senate, which President Marcos also weighed in on.
It seems to only be applicable to Senator Bato para makaboto si Senator Bato dahil nagtatago siya. Now, for someone who is actually a fugitive from justice, na hinahanap ng pulis, na hinahanap ng Interpol, at may arrest warrant galing sa ICC, palagay ko, hindi siya dapat bumoto hanggat dumating siya dun sa Senado.
For Senator Marcos, this is meddling with legislative business. But the president is not done yet, giving his take on more goings-on the upper chamber. PBBM is concerned of what the Senate has become as an institution.
How concerning is this, sir?
Very. I watched with horror that this is the Senate, that the Senate has become this. I look at my other fellow senators. Madalas kaming nagtitinginan ni E.S. Ralph. Ganyan ba tayo nung senador tayo? Meron ba tayong ganyan na ginagawa? Hindi tayo ganyan. Paano nangyari? Tapos, narating pa tayo sa putukan. Tapos, fake pala yung putukan. Tapos, hindi ko maintindihan. Walang nangyayaring kagaya na nung panahon ko sa Senado. Of course, the only basis for comparison that I have is the time that I was in the Senate. I was watching the comments of former SP, another colleague of ours, Senator Frank Drilon. Sabi niya, ano nangyari dito? The Senate is now sheltering fugitives from justice. How did that happen? I don't understand how a Senate is supposed to function if those are the kind of things that the Senate is embroiled in.
Mr. Marcos also had something to say to his senator sister who floated the no election scenario in 2028.
She should fire her staffer who gave her that information. Because, fake news hurts everyone. Not only those that fake news is attacking, but also those who are purveying that fake news. The purveyors of fake news are also damaged by this kind of. She should choose her sources of information.
Finally, the president also addressed rumors that he will soon replace Interior Secretary John Victor Mulya.
Yes, I don't know why that rumor went around. I think somebody wants his job. Kaya kinakalat na matatanggal na siya para siguro ang inaasahan nila sila ay may ilagay. Pero wala kaming pinaplano na ganun. The only latest change in the cabinet was in Dole. Because Secretary Benny has asked to take a step back. He has some issues that he has to deal with, and so we have appointed a new cabinet secretary for Dole, which is former Senator Francis Tolentino.
The president made all these comments on the last day of his official visit to Japan. Malacanang enumerates several achievements from the trip, including billions of pesos of investment and expansion pledges from Japanese tech and manufacturing firms. Pivotal agreements such as the deal on the avoidance of double taxation and an elevated security and defense cooperation. Kapatid Mobile Journal Julie Baiza, We're One News.
The campaign to oust Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano is alive. Senator Erwin Tulfo hinted at the possibility of two senators switching sides. He earlier told our sister program Storycon that two majority members are at this point disgusted by the events at the upper chamber.
Naghihintay kami ng milagro sa langit. Ilan doon na dalawa sa kanila hanggang medyo disgusted din naman. Hindi sila makapaniwala. So probably we can talk to them over the weekend. Pero still no assurance kung sasama sila.
Just two defections are needed to restore the old majority currently led by Senator Tito Soto. The so-called Solid Bloc 11 is pushing for Senator Win Gatchalian to replace Senate President Cayetano. Asked if Senator Loren Legarda could also jump fence, Tulfo had this to say.
In fairness, si Senator Loren, yung pro tempore nila, went up to our room kasi Nix invited her. Pero wala lang, kwentuhan. Tapos biro-biro, sama ka na sa amin. Lord said, no. Sabi niya nga, may mga things pa that I have to resolve or something to that effect.
Now, meantime, the House Prosecution Panel is reiterating its refusal to accept possible online voting in the Senate when the impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte begins. In a statement, House Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega said that Section 89 is clear. Remote voting should not be upheld out of convenience, nor to avoid facing the plenary. It is only there to ensure that even in times of emergency or extraordinary circumstances, the job of Congress shall continue. House Lead Prosecutor Jervil Luistro seconded this, insisting all senator judges should be physically present during the trial.
We are not amenable to that because we understand that this is a constitutional process. They should witness the presentation of evidence because they need to see the demeanor of all these witnesses for them to decide whether the witnesses are telling the truth or otherwise. And if they are present during the presentation of witness, the more reason that they should be present during the casting of vote because that is a constitutional duty to the sovereign Filipino people.
But Sagip Party List Congressman Paolo Marcoleta thinks otherwise. He defended his father, Senator Rodante Marcoleta's motion to allow online participation in the Senate impeachment trial.
Kapag meron pong mahalagang batas na kailangan maipasa, ang mga kongresista ay maaaring bumoto through electronic platforms kung wala sila sa plenaryo. At hindi ko po maintindihan kung bakit sa Senado ay hindi nila pwedeng isagawa ito. Pareho lang naman ang trabaho ng House of Representatives at ng Senado. Pareho lang silang gumagawa ng batas.
In the end, the House hopes senators will be able to thresh out their differences before the impeachment trial kicks off. They believe this is key to ensuring on-time commencement of the agreed date on July 6. At the moment, the prosecution team already has 25 witnesses for presentation. These include self-proclaimed VP Bagman Ramil Madayaga and former Senator Sonny Trillanes.
Siyempre, inaasahan po namin na that matter will be resolved in the soonest time. Kasi po, nagmamatter pa rin po yung forum sa usapin po ng reconvening ng Senate impeachment trial, and doon po sa patutuloy towards pre-trial and trial, mahalaga po yung pagkakaroon ng forum po of all senators.
And as the manhunt for Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa continues, the National Bureau of Investigation is now considering issuing a subpoena for his wife Nancy. For NBI Director Melvin Matibag, this is simply part of the ongoing probe and information gathering on the lawmaker's location. Matibag also pointed out Mrs. De La Rosa was the last one seen with the senator before he left the Senate. Nancy earlier appealed to the government not to arrest her husband, the subject of an ICC warrant over the Duterte drug war. And even with Bato's gun licenses revoked, the NBI still considers the former PNP chief armed and dangerous.
Well, ang rules na lang to effect a warrant of arrest. Ang sinasabi, you enforce the warrant of arrest that you can use the necessary force needed. So depende kung ano yung gagawin nila. Eh kung binabaril na yung mga ahente natin, alam namang hindi pa rin makipagbarilan, hindi ba? Depende. It's the necessary force. So it will depend on the circumstances during the time that the arrest will be effected.
Sir, what if manlaban ulit sa Senator Bato? Like what happens sa Senate?
Sana wag. Sana wag manlaban.
In other news, the country's contact center industry is rebranding for the age of AI. Industry leaders say the shift is not about replacing Filipino workers, but moving them into higher value jobs. Dale Israel of One News Cebu reports.
By becoming the first.
The Philippine contact center industry is now entering a new era powered by artificial intelligence as the Contact Center Association of the Philippines, or CCAP, officially rebrands into Customer Experience Association of the Philippines, or CXAP. The rebranding was formally unveiled during the Contact Islands 2026 conference yesterday, held at the Shangri-La Mactan in Cebu, with over 100 contact centers joining the biggest annual event dedicated to the BPO industry. With the theme Reimagining CX, Shaping the World, the event marks the 10th year of the annual gathering of the leaders and stakeholders in the customer experience. According to CXAP President Heidi Enriquez, the shift from CCAP to CXAP reflects the evolution of the industry from traditional call center services to human-powered and AI-enabled customer experience solutions. Enriquez stressed that artificial intelligence is not replacing Filipino workers, but instead helping improve the quality of customer interactions and services provided to clients around the world.
Because of the evolution of technology, and now with AI, that has really transformed the workflows and the way we service clients. And we strongly believe that the industry association has to reflect that pivot, that change that all of our members and the industry is going through.
She said Filipino workers are now doing more than just handling calls. They are solving problems, building relationships, and creating value through advanced multi-channel customer experience services. Meanwhile, industry leaders say the customer experience sector continues to grow despite global economic challenges and the rise of AI technology. The contact center and business process management industry generated more than $33 billion in revenue in 2025, a growth of almost 7% compared to the previous year. The industry is also expected to grow even further this year, with revenues projected to reach more than $35 billion, according to CXAP Chairman Mitch Locsin, who is also head of PLDT Enterprise. This is a steady growth despite the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and uncertainties in local politics in the Philippines.
It's really preparing our people for the next level of work, adapting to new technologies, And it's really making sure that our country continues to thrive in terms of the next wave cities, the infrastructure that needs to be placed. Right now, we're contributing already $40.3 billion in revenues for the country.
Industry officials said AI is now creating new job opportunities such as AI trainers, prompt engineers, AI solutions architect, and AI ethicists. The group also emphasized that human empathy, communication, and creativity will continue to play a major role despite the advancement of AI technology. Mga kapatid, Dale Israel, One News, Cebu.
This is the big story on One News, and still ahead, an oil price rollback could be coming in the first week of the new month. It's big time. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the big story. Motorists may get a reprieve after weeks of oil price hikes. There could be a big-time rollback on Tuesday. DOE Oil Industry Management Bureau Rino Abad says diesel prices could become cheaper by 8 pesos per liter on June 2, gasoline by 4 pesos per liter, and kerosene by 10 pesos per liter. The estimates are based on 4 days of trading at the Mine of Platts, Singapore. There's still one more day of trading, results of which will be out tomorrow. Abad says the DOE and oil companies have agreed to an allowable range for adjusting prices.
Nagpatawag ng emergency meeting si Secretary at siya mismo ang humarap sa mga oil companies at ang naging usapan niya ho ay magkaroon na ho ng allowable range kasi nga definitely yung isang computation does not fit for all, no? Kailangan lang ho namin ma-maintain ay yung acceptable range na based doon sa kanilang actual importation ng mga cost.
And here are other stories making headlines this last Friday of May, starting with a vigorous defense from Leyte Representative Martin Romualdez. Romualdez's spokesperson, Attorney Elaine Atienza, counters a claim of Ombudsman Boying Remulla that the former speaker is the mastermind of the flood control mess. Atienza says Romualdez had no power to control the entire budget process. She adds that the mastermind label runs counter to the structure of the government and the realities of making the national budget.
Meantime, the death toll in the building collapse in Angeles City, Pampanga has risen to 6. Authorities are still searching for the remains of 14 people still buried or trapped under the rubble. Some families have already complained that ongoing operations are slow. In the weather, Tropical Storm Doming has slightly intensified, packing wind speeds of 85 kilometers per hour and gustiness of 105 kph. As of 5 p.m., it was spotted 1,120 kilometers east of Central Luzon. Doming will move near Basco and Itbayat, Batanes over the weekend before exiting the Philippine area of responsibility on Tuesday. No wind signals have been raised so far.
And airfares will decrease in the first half of June as airlines reduce their fuel surcharges. The Civil Aeronautics Board lowered their passenger and cargo fuel surcharge to level 13 from level 15 effective June 1 to 15. At level 13, domestic surcharges range from 423 pesos to 1,237 pesos, while international fees range from 1,396 pesos to 10,385 pesos depending on the distance. The fuel surcharge is an optional fee used to offset fuel costs and may be adjusted based on market prices.
And to end the week, we honor this Filipino duo who conquered one of the world's most formidable mountains. Our big picture tonight, Project Pango achieved. 53-year-old Jerry Egbalik and 29-year-old Ivan Cataluna met during a hike in Las Vegas in 2020. They planned as early as 2024 to reach the climax of El Capitan in California, known as a mecca of modern rock climbing through the fabled route The Nose. In naming their endeavor Project Pango, they wanted to erase the negative connotation of being snub-nosed. Their first attempt last year failed due to bad weather, but they made another try from May 13 to 16, and after navigating through different challenges, it's mission accomplished. Wow.
I get sweaty, not because of the heat, but you know, the heights, all the stones. There's a lot of docus featuring El Capitan.
Really?
Well, they're good.
It must be tough.
Oh my gosh, it's like a solid rock wall.
Wow.
Very scary. Did you see the photo of when they would hang the beds?
Yeah.
beside
Where to
them?
sleep?
Where to sleep?
Yeah.
They're just hanging, and they
Hanging
trust that
from the
makeshift.
Yeah, they have to set up their camp
bed.
on the wall using ropes and all these things. So congratulations, guys.
Yeah,
Takes a lot of
congrats.
courage.
Courage.
All right, and
Guts. No guts, no glory.
yeah, we need a lot of that nowadays. But on that note, that's it for us on this last Friday of May. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you for watching The Big Story. Have a great weekend ahead, everyone.
Kapatid, we are One News, your side all the time. See you again on Monday at 8 p.m. Have a good night.
Diba sabi niya, make my day.
Oh my God! May nagpaputok!
Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon. The big stories tonight.